MightyKeef. Guys, I was able to play Assassin's Creed Shadows for 4 hours. Got up and I was able to play some Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ubisoft was so kind to let me check it out and give my thoughts on it. You know, the good, the bad, everything. And that's what y'all gonna see today. This is probably gonna be a long video because I have a lot to talk about, and I'm still gonna have like more videos either today or tomorrow about this subject. So a lot of info. So really, I mean, it's gonna be raw. I don't have like a script I'm really going off of. I did ask you guys yesterday for some questions that you have, which I will go on. There will be a segment about that. I will be talking about the good things I liked, about the bad things I liked, about the things that I think that they can improve on. Just comparisons with other Assassin's Creed games, things like that. So we're gonna have a lot. So first, let's talk about just like the graphics, right? Since that is the first thing you will see, that's the first thing I will talk about. For me, this is the best looking Assassin's Creed that has come out, which you would hope for since this is like the most recent one. But it's not just the graphics, it's like the attention to detail when it comes to you walking into the bushes or cutting down bamboo or walking, you know, into an arrow that's on the ground, the little cracks it'll make and things like that. There are very small details that'll happen in this game that sometimes you can't even notice until you walk back and say, hey, oh, that's interesting. The lighting is very good. The shadows are very good. And both of those actually are incorporated with the gameplay, you know, with your stuff and whatnot. As you'll see, like my character, Yasuke, he's like in the shadows right now, right? And when he does that, there's like a little light, there's like a little bar that goes over him that kind of indicates, hey, he's hidden right now. And I think that's kind of cool. Similar to like when you're in the old Assassin's Creeds where you can kind of like hide in front of crowds. And there will be like an outline to let you know that you are hidden. And of course, you know, there'll be like, you know, in Skyrim where it'll show you if you are an eye's closed, showing that you're hidden, or an eye open and whatnot. With the visuals, I'm just gonna be honest, it looks good. It looks good. There's nothing about the visuals that I have any complaints about. It looks like a AAA game. It looks like a AAA quality. Now, of course, there are some things with the graphical animations when it comes to people talking. So like, for example, a lot of times they will still look a little dull. And now in previous Assassin's Creed games, I'll just say previous Ubisoft games, the facial animations won't really line up with what they're saying too well. That has been alleviated in this game, it looks like, for the most part. But it's still, there are still some things that are a little off at times. Like the expressions can be a little odd. Now it is a work in progress, of course. I don't know which kind of build this is that I received, but it's pretty far along, I think, what I got. But it is a work in progress. I will say that this is an upgrade to previous like animations, facial animations when it comes to them talking. But that was like just the first thing I noticed, right? You know, that's still just something, you know, not many games get right. I don't know why. So now let's go over story, or what I can see of it. It was only, like I said, a 4-hour demo, and we got to see the prologue, and we also got to see like later on in the game when you're in like your 20s, as you can see. So there was a lot of stuff that got skipped, and we only really did side quests. We didn't do too much of the main story. Of the main story I did play, I will say it was pretty good. It was pretty good. The way they introduced the characters and I guess their motives for kind of being in this game and why they're doing what they're doing was very well. It was very good. The only other time I felt as like, whoa, when it came to an Assassin's Creed's intro is Assassin's Creed 2, Black Flags, Assassin's Creed Origins. Those are the ones that came to mind when I was like, damn, this is a pretty good introduction to the character. Now, you know, obviously there's others that in this franchise that have done well, but like those are the ones that come to mind when I think about this, right? So if you like that caliber of like introduction to the characters, you know, this did a pretty good job of introducing them and why they're here. Also, what looks like it's going to be returned is like that the battle, like back in old Assassin's Creeds, there was like, you know, the Templars versus the Brotherhood, right? And I feel like in the newer games, that kind of got not talked about as much. Like I don't remember that happening too much. Like they would get skimmed over in like the Odyssey, the Valhalla, and Origins, but it wasn't talked about to an extent that it used to be. And I believe that that's coming back because there's in the beginning there was like this box that you could that like there's like a box that you have, and it seemed like something that wasn't exclusive to Japan. It seems like it was passed down through generations because it's the way they alluded to it was like, hey, this is something we need to protect or something that can't fall in the hands of the bad people, right? And then when the what I would assume are the Templars, when they get introduced, bro, they are crazy. They're like, it gives me like a Kotsky, you know what I'm saying? A Kotsky or the spiders from Hunter x Hunter, you know what I'm saying? Like it gave me that type of vibe when they pulled up, which I liked a lot. I was like, okay, these guys are demons. These guys are monsters. I like that a lot. I cannot show y'all that. I believe in a commercial or a trailer, you will probably see them as time comes on. But they were in the prologue, which I could not show. But dang, that prologue was very good. But yeah, the story seems pretty interesting so far. You know what I mean? You're gonna have the perspective of Naoe, the person who was born in Japan, born and raised, being oppressed by Oda's regime. And then you have this black dude who came out of nowhere, and he's like he is the perspective of an outsider coming in to see everything. So you have your person who was born a Japanese person, and then you have the person who got adopted by the Japanese culture. So you get two different perspectives, which I've always thought was pretty interesting. Yeah, that's all I can really say about story so far because we didn't really get too much of it. All right, so let's get into the really fun stuff. Let's talk about some combat. As y'all saw earlier, right? The game still has a fixation on the kind of RPG elements, right, with your gear. So if that's something you did not like before, you're not gonna like it now. It's still in the game. You know what I mean? I will say that this is much more grounded combat in comparison to like the Origins, Valhalla, and Odyssey. Out of the past three RPG open world Assassin's Creed games, this one is much more grounded. It feels like the attacks are much more deliberate, and you can see, of course, they'll have your little stats on there. This is like RPG light. It's not a full on RPG. Like we not playing we're not right. We're not diving deep into like the mid maxing like that. At least from what I've seen. Who knows what the final product will be? Who knows what the in game will be? A lot of times they have in game with DLC and stuff like that in these type of games where you become a god damn near. Right now, you'll see plus 25% damage on next hit after blocking. And stuff like that helps, right? It's not like in Valhalla where they were like, oh, there's like a nodes where it's like plus 1.3% to your light attacks or something. Something very minuscule. That was something about Valhalla I did not like, and that does not seem to happen in this game. Like, it does seem like gear is actually more important. And I'm actually going to go to one place where I'm playing Naoe, which actually highlights exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me find it. Basically, when you're playing as Naoe, right, you're the assassin, right? You are in the shadows. You want to be silent. You want to be creative. You can't just like walk up on somebody, right? I mean, you could, but she is much less vulnerable. I mean, she's much less durable than Yasuke. So, I mean, 2 hits, you're gone. 2 to 3 hits, you're gone. Right, Yasuke, he can kind of tank that stuff, and he's better in a 1v1. She has a lot of that kind of, I get to assassinate you, and then you, all in one blow or something like that, right? But if if she gets caught, you can't really, you can't be fighting 2 to 3 people at a time. You're gonna get bodied. So in this, we had to actually I had to go against like some samurais to give like a big example, right? Originally, you do your assassin stuff. And you kill X, you attack for X amount of damage, right? And usually when I assassinated or tried to assassinate an elite mob, it would do like 1 health bar or whatnot. But and then I'd do 1 health bar, and then I'd have to leave into the shadows and come back and try to assassinate again, right? Kind of that's kind of like how her gameplay seems to be, where it's jump in, do as much damage as you can, throw a smoke bomb or stealth out, then come back in later and do as much damage as you can. As opposed to Yasuke just going in there, broad shoulders, beating the hell out of people. So one thing when it came to this piece of gear is it says +2 health segments removed on air assassins, which means now instead of me going out to do a regular assassin and it takes out 2 health bars out of 3, right? If I do an air assassinate with this gear on, I will now do like 4 health bars, which now instead of which completely changes how I play, because now I can one-shot elite mobs instead of going in there, doing as much damage, stealthing out, possibly getting caught, and then having to go back in there and do more damage. Now I can just go in there and attack. And then there's one that allows me, when I do get detected, it slows down time, right? So there are gear that kind of changes gameplay. It's not just like, hey, you get 5% extra damage. It's stuff where it's like, oh, okay, this is, now that this changes like how stuff happens. So of course I'm throwing out, I think it was like a charm that kind of, that stealth gameplay where you throw out a charm, so it alerts other people. So boom, now that completely changed how I played earlier, because before, let me show y'all. This is before I even put that gear on, right? So this is one of the samurai, and he has about 5 health bars, right? So I can assassinate him, and it does 3 damage. Now, had I had that gear on, it would have done 2 more damage, meaning he would have only had 1 health bar left. But because I think he clears me, bro. I think he cleared me before. I was like, bro, what? That is one thing. In Assassin's Creed, I never feel like I die or that the games are hard. And in the very beginning, it felt like the AI was just kind of standing there, letting me attack them and stuff. But that was like the prologue, so I guess that's why it felt that way. Once you get into the game, like, these guys hit hard. I was like, what is going on? But anyways, yeah, that's just a demonstration. See, I couldn't one-shot him because I didn't have the gear on. When you go in and do the kind of stealth attack, leave, though their health doesn't regenerate, they do have like a armored bar that you have to go through. Almost like a posture bar before you actually do damage to the health. So you see, I had to go back into stealth, wait a little bit. He has 3 bars left, and he still has that little yellow gold bar, which is kind of like his armor. Now, when you assassinate, it goes through that little posture bar. You do like direct damage. So that's why it's always better to be able to one-shot them, so you don't have to go back. But yeah, I took him out. There'll be times where you'll see these random pedestrians, right? And they are innocent, right? You don't want to kill them. However, they won't attack you, but they will alert people as to your whereabouts. So it does give you the option to assassinate them, and that's kind of like where like moral choices come in, because you're like, dang, he ain't really do nothing, but like, he about to snitch too. I might have to put him in a body bag. So let's talk about Yasuke. You know how Yasuke is the big brawler type. He don't really be stealthing. Now, like with Nyaoe, you can 1v1 people. It's just harder. Yasuke can also stealth. It's just harder. If you do manage to get it off, though, it's actually pretty cool, because like with Nyaoe, she does these little stabs to the throat, or, like surgical hits to your ankle and then stabs. With him, if you get a takedown, bro, nah, buddy, you just, boom, head severed from your shoulder. That's his assassination. The gear is pretty legit. As of right now, I believe Yasuke has 6 different weapons he can get. He can get the long katana, he can get the naginatana. He has a gun, he has a bow and arrow, he has the combo, which is like that big mallet that you swing. And they all have different animations. They all have different kill animations, which we're going to go over in a bit as well. And they all look good. This is a gory game. I just showed y'all where the guy's head gets severed off, right? But I mean, it gets crazier than that. I don't know what I can put on YouTube. I'm just going to put it all. Who cares? Huh? This is my second channel. I can do whatever the hell I want on this channel. So again, with Yasuke, you don't sneak up, bro. You just go in, right? This is the combo I have, which is kind of like that Darth Maul sword. No. Actually, it's more like a staff with a sword. Whatnot. And of course, there are moves, just like in Valhalla and Odyssey, where it's like little special moves you have if you hold right trigger and then a button. However, it's not over the top like before. Like, hold on. I think I get mopped up by this guy, because this is like the first time I'm going against this like specific enemy, or this is like the first time I'm doing combat in the game after the prologue. But you see, like, yeah, they do some damage in this game. They do some damage. So I'm gonna show y'all how I am now, and then I'm gonna show y'all like when I actually like after a few hours of playtime, what happened. So at this point in time, I still think that I can parry the red indicators, but I think I just keep getting slapped up, and I'm like, why is that happening? Then I remember, oh yeah, that's just a thing with these type of games. But nah, man, the combat was pretty good. I know this combat section is huge, but a lot of people play Assassin's Creed for combat, for the stealth, for the fighting, and that's what I wanted to go over. And I can't talk about story too much because I didn't play story too much. Something that is hilarious is that this game, there was some times I died to environmental damages because I was like, what is happening? And it's just because I was slamming things so hard that it created area of effects that just killed me. And what y'all probably wondering why this random person is just piecing up NPCs like that. Well, in this game, oh, look at this, arms gone, head gone, gory as hell. In this game, and I don't have much. I might be able to get some B-roll footage of it, but in this game, while you're exploring, I'm sorry, the mechanic is so wild that I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even get to go into it. Essentially, in the game, there's going to be hideouts where you can kind of set up like your base of operations. It's kind of cool. That's kind of like the little Sims where you create a house and you put decorations, you put this, that, and the third. But it also has like kind of that Monster Hunter effect where it's like, the stuff that you're doing in there can reflect in gameplay. For example, you can get mercenaries, right? And during your gameplay, you can summon those mercenaries to distract people or to help you out in combat or do things of various nature. You know what I mean? You can send scouts out to different parts of the map to collect material for you and stuff like that. So its own like little kind of like a little Sims management system that they have in the back. And again, that's like a whole different thing that I legitimately didn't even know was in this game prior to coming. I haven't seen them talk about this, but I'm gonna see if I can get y'all some footage of that near the end of it, because that would be a very small section. Because again, I did not play. But here, this is crazy, bro. Let me show y'all, bro. I'm over here. Boom! I changed to my mace, right? And of course, it's much slower. It does heavier hits. It's more about bashing and whatnot. There's a point, I'm pretty sure I die because, yeah, what is it? I think it's right here. I slam down, boom! Area effect just kills me. So yeah, be careful when you're using this guy because he hits hard and there's things that'll hit around him. Overall though, I'm gonna be honest, this was a fun game. From what I played, it was a very fun game. Again, it's a work in progress. Again, I did not play the full game. I just played 4 hours. Of that 4 hours, though, I liked it. And I'm sorry, baby girl, but she had to jump out because this boat is mine right now. I think I'm going to go like do some type of main quest. I think I said earlier that we only did side quests. That was a lie. We did do main quests, but it was like so far into the story that I didn't really understand what was going on because like you're like level 25 at this point, right? And I'm pretty sure like some story beats, like at this point, Yasuke and Naoe are already like together, like they're already friends trying to fight something. Whereas in the beginning, they've never even met each other. So it's very different. So I didn't really understand what was going on, but mostly I did was just a 1 or 2 main quests, and then the rest was like side quests. But yeah, I mean, that was the combat so far. It seems fluid. It seems fun. All right, we did not talk about this part, and I believe this is part of, I would say this should be part of the combat segment. When you get your mastery points, this is how you level up your character. And each weapon has their own level up system. So it's not like you level up, in the past where it's like, oh, you level up survival, you'll level up assassination, you'll level up combat. No, it's like each weapon has their own skill tree, and based off how you want to play with each weapon is how you're going to play the game. Each one will have their own skill stuff that they can do, right? Whether that's increasing damage, whether that's completely new moves, whether that's like augmentations of the moves you already have. Each weapon will have their own skill tree. So you get to play as much. I don't know how many skill points you will get at the end. I don't know if you'll be able to figure it all out. I don't know if part of the RPG section is the fact that you have to make a choice of which ones you want to play more. So that, on your next playthrough you can be like, oh well, I want to see how the longbow is, maining a longbow, or how the kanabo is as opposed to the long katana. You know, I don't know, but I focused mainly on the naginata and the kanabo, like the samurai portion and the teppo and all that. I didn't even do all that. Because again, we had a very limited time, right? But yeah, this was very interesting. This was, in my opinion, a much more significant upgrade to like how your character plays, as opposed to the previous Assassin's Creeds that are in this genre, like Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. The negatives so far. Luckily, I didn't feel like there was too many negatives. Again, you can't get too much out of, you know what I mean, because you don't know what's going to happen later on. A negative that's very important is how the story is going to be. It may be really nice in the beginning, but how is it going to be 10 hours from now, 15 hours from now, 20 hours from now? So all I can say is, for right now, the story felt really good, but I don't know what it's going to be. The combat was much better in my opinion. Like I said, I think it's the best that Assassin's Creed has had. A negative again was like just the facial animations. When they're talking, it doesn't always look like you know what I mean, too clean. It is definitely better. It's definitely an upgrade to before, but it still doesn't look too great. A negative also would probably be the quest mapping, the quest markers for me personally. The reason why I was hesitant to put this into the negatives is because it's possible that it's a me problem and not the game problem. And the reason why I say that is because in some of the maps, it'll be very vague as to what you're supposed to do, or it will just be very hard to find who you're supposed to find, because some places, like, Japan's kind of hilly, right? So some places you'll have a ground level, then you'll have a roof level or a top level, and then you'll have like a bottom level that you haven't even discovered yet, and you don't know where the person is. So you're in a big area and you just don't know what's going on or where the person is. There's no like indication, right? It may say you're right on top of the person, but you don't know exactly where. It may say they're right below you and you're like, okay. But to get below you, you have to go like on the opposite side of the map, then go all the way under, but you have no idea where the entrance is. And I think that maybe if it could just be a little bit more, a little bit more transparent, that'd be good. It wasn't too bad in this one. You will see what I'm talking about, but you see her little takedowns. One thing I will say, I went to Himeji Castle, and it was beautiful. I'm going to Japan for the first time ever in April, and my boys were talking about Himeji Castle. Didn't even know about Himeji Castle. Thing's been around since 1600s. Had no idea about it. You know what I mean? I'm not like caught up with the Japanese lore like that. That's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to go there, because as of right now, it's just been about anime and stuff like that. But I wanted to check out the culture more, right? I think I get slapped up by these guys. As you can see, it's hard. It is hard to like fight 1v1 or 1v2 with Naue, because she is so fragile and she just doesn't do that type of melee damage like if you were Yasuke. If it was Yasuke, you could do a whole bunch of stuff to those guys. You kind of, with her, you want to get in and get out. An example of what I'm talking about here, right? So you see the little red dot, you're in here. It says confront Tokiebi, right? That's kind of all you know. But there's a lot of people here, right? So you got to get rid of them first, but then it's like, where is he? I'm going around and it doesn't really show you anything, right? There's no indication. Usually there's like a blue icon that lets you know, hey, this is where the person is, right? So now it shows up. All right. But it didn't show up. It almost seems like it's like randomly showing up, because it's like, okay, I'm supposed to go there. So I decided to just go at the very top to see if I can get a good view of it. And this is like after just exploring this, and this ain't that big of an area, but it still took me like, where is it? So then you find out, oh, okay, he's 5 below you. All right. 5 below me, where exactly? Then I find out, okay, there are some ladders down there that you can go into a completely different basement. I'm like, okay, sick. Then you find him and you can start off. But prior to that, I mean, you kind of, you notice how I'm in the area, but the blue icon doesn't show up at all. So I'm kind of just like walking blind for a lot of it. And I'm just like, well, what's happening? It wasn't until I got really close to where he is that it even showed, but it didn't even show me like where that really close indication was. So that was a little bit of a negative. Again, that could just be me, right? I just might need to be better. If you figure out that that is a problem with you though, then the reason why I'm saying it could be me is because later on when I do go to Himeji Castle, I mean, it takes me a long time. I was like with the Ubisoft rep, like, bro, where are these people? So when you go to Himeji Castle, there is a reward. It's a this is not a main quest thing. This is a completely side thing. You get 3,000, I believe this is EXP. You get a cool legendary outfit and everything. You just got to defeat 5 samurai daishos and find the loot. Cool, sounds easy enough, right? Cool. You go to Himeji Castle though, bro, and like this place is humongous. I'm talking about humongous. Let me see if I can find the area. So, all right, this is Himeji Castle at the very top. That's like where the actual castle is. I believe all of this around you is still considered the castle. But this place is huge, humongous. Like as soon as I hop over this fence, I believe that's when the Himeji Castle stuff starts. And you have to find 5 people in that huge area. And there's no indication as to where they are. You don't even get a map, a marker. There's no blue marker to let you know. You just have to find them. Like, you just have to find them. And this is where it starts, right? And it's just like, okay. There's nothing to even tell you. There's probably like 40 or 50 people in here in this big area. And you just have to like figure it out, right? So where you see this peculiar guest, that's not part of, you may see a blue icon up there. That's not part of where I'm at right now. That's just a side quest somewhere else. In the actual Himeji Castle like event or side quest, there is nothing that tells you where these people are. And that was very hard to deal with because I was like, bro, I need something. It doesn't have to be like, hey, right here. But like, it'd be kind of cool if you had, if you snuck up on NPCs and you could like, I don't know, there was a whisper, listen function where like they would like give you information, be like, hey, so-and-so samurai, he likes to fish a lot, right? Then it's like, oh, let me go find areas where there's a bridge or a fishing spot. Oh, there he is. You know what I mean? Like something that's still like organic, but still kind of like tells you, hey, this is the direction you need to go. Nah, look how big this area is, bro. Look how big this area is. I'm supposed to find 5 people. I got to kill 5 specific people in this area, bro. And it was I was like, where are they? Now you have this little, if you hold like LT or left trigger, you can kind of scope out and tag certain people. And then if you hold, I think it's right thumper or something, you go into this like mode where you can highlight enemies and they're in red and whatnot. That still didn't help. Now, later on, I will find a perch that you can go on top of. Similar to how in the beginning of other Assassin's Creed games, where it's like you get on the very top of a building and then it does this cool panoramic thing where the Assassin's Creed music comes in like, meh, 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 meh. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And then it shows you, that you have now synchronized with the area. That kind of happens in this game, but like not like that, right? It still does that, but basically, let me see if I can go to it. And honestly, I should have went straight to the very top. At the very literal top of Himeji Castle, there is like this observation part, right, where you see the bird icon, and it's like, okay, I could have gone there. Boom, you get to see the whole thing, right? And that. And at that point, I'm like, okay, this will illuminate all of my people I'm trying to kill. Right, this is gonna show me. This still did not do that though. It showed me one that was very close by, but it did not show me because at this point, like after just combing through the place, I think I killed 3 out of the 5, and I needed to find the 2 others. One was directly below me. And I think that's why I was able to see him. The other one was still a mystery, and I found out later on is because the place is so big that there's a possible the search function just may not find it. right? It's so big, search function just may not find it. It's very possible it's on the third layer, right? Because this is the highest part. Then you got a second part. Then you got like a third part, and then you got a bottom layer, right? And so you got to find 5 people in this huge place. Again, it's like a gift and a curse. It's a gift because it's beautiful, and it's like I feel like it's a 1-to-1 ratio of what Himeji Castle probably looks like in terms of like how big it is compared to like you as a person. But like it was like a double-edged sword because I couldn't find anybody. Well, later on, as time progressed, what I'm saying, I was able to finally get them, right? Finally find them. I don't know. I got the stuff though. I was able to finally get it. But this took a big portion of my time. Oh yeah, she just came in and sliced this man up. Her combat is much more quick, much more agile, as you can see. And then of course, dang. All right. Yep. He's not gonna be in Assassin's Creed Shadows 2. Yeah, it was really fun. But again, that's like the only negative I have. And yeah, that was my time. That was my time. The combat was fun. The graphics are good. The story seems interesting so far. So, answering some of your questions, let's see what we can do. We'll start Okay. Can you seamlessly swap to characters when not in a mission? Does Yasuke use a hidden blade at all? Is Naoe viable in combat, or should she purely be stealthy? So as I answered earlier, yeah, Naoe is purely stealth. You can fight 1v1, but when it gets to like 2v1 or 3v1 or 4v1, you just don't have the health pool to deal with that. And like the margin for error is death. The margin for error is very, very small, whereas Yasuke, you can kind of steamboat, go through people. You can swap through characters when you're not in a mission seamlessly. You just go into your inventory and switch back. Yeah, when you're not on a mission. Yeah. How immersive does the world feel? What do you think about the combat? Does it feel like an improvement over the other AC games? How immersive does it feel? Like I said, when it feels pretty good so far. The physics with like walking through the grasses or walking over like equipment and things like that feel good. When you attack somebody, it was weird because when you go in there and you like attack somebody in the real world, that's like a regular citizen. In previous AC games, you'd get like desynchronized from the game if you kill like innocent people. That didn't happen, at least when I killed innocent people. However, people did react to me killing innocent people. I don't know if there's like a wanted level or anything like that, but I do remember actually like hitting a bodyguard in front of like 4 other bodyguards and people attacked me, or killing someone randomly in the middle of the street. And the bodyguards were like, "What are you doing? You can't do that." You know what I mean? And then of course, like when you sneak up on somebody, one of the bodyguards or one of the like random pedestrians, they will alert people who are nearby if you're in a territory where you're not supposed to be at. So yeah, I think it's a little immersive. Is it necessary to switch to Yasuke for certain combat situations, or do you think you can deal with it well with Naoe if you're good enough? I get the sense that Naoe is more versatile than Yasuke since she can fight and do stealth, while Yasuke seems to be good at just combat. Yeah, Yasuke is just good at combat. I don't know how that's going to translate later on. Naoe is only decent at combat, but can do stealth and parkour and stuff like that. So it's like she excels at stealth and he excels at combat. And so I don't know how that's going to mix and match later on. I guess in theory, if you are just good enough, then you could use Yasuke for stealth and you can use Naoe just for combat. You know what I mean? But it just seems like that is going to be like one of those things where it's like, I just want to make the game much harder than normal. Tandem player, do you swap from one to the other? From what we played, you were not locked into any character. You could switch. You could play whatever mission you want as either of them. And they give you a choice during a cinematic, or, of course, you can just go into your inventory between missions and just do it. Do it yourself. How are the side activities in the section you played? Well, yeah, it was Himeji Castle. That was the side activity I did. That was the only side activity I really did. So I already gave my thoughts about that. How many different weapons can Yasuke use? I already gave my I told y'all about 6, I believe, 7. Is it better than Ghost of Tsushima? I have no idea, bro. It's only 4 hours. It is. The 4 hours were good though. How different is the Yasuke gameplay to Naoe gameplay, and is there a ninja base builder in the game? There is a base builder in the game, and Yasuke and Naoe are very, very different. How agile is Yasuke? Not agile at all. That guy is a tank. As in how little can he can't parkour as good as Naoe at all. But he can. It just looks funny. Do you need a Ubisoft account to play it? Probably. You need a Ubisoft Connect, I would assume. How would you rate the game and its release price? Should I wait for a discount? It's a $70 game. Like I said, so far it was good, but it's only been 4 hours. When I get a full review, you'll know exactly. Is Oda a main character throughout the game, or do you kind of just interact a little bit? He was very... I mean, in the beginning, in the prologue we played, he was there. I believe he's going to be a big presence for most of the game. But I don't know for sure because we didn't get to play all of it. The game has been delayed multiple times after playing the game. Were you able to identify their need to delay it? Well, I didn't play the game before it got delayed, so I don't know what changes were there. All I can know is like off the ads and stuff like on Twitter, and they definitely improved like the animations for sure. That was like the one thing that I could tell that they improved on that. Based on the portion that you've played, would you recommend this to a newcomer as their first AC game? Absolutely. This is a very modern AC game in the fact that like the combat isn't like as restrictive as like maybe some previous older AC games. Yeah, and you get all the modern jazz with the graphics and everything, and this is its own game, right? You don't have to play any other AC games to know what's going on outside of like whatever the Templar versus Assassins storyline is going to be. That's very important, but I'm sure this was in like 1609, right? 16, so it's pretty early on in the Assassin's Creed legacy, I think. Well, shoot, no. What timeline was Assassin's Creed 1 and 2? How old is that? Meiji Castle was in 16. I can't remember. Is the Ninja Girl mostly focused on stealth? Yes. As someone who is never interested in recent AC games, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, would I be into this? Probably not. Honestly, I mean, this is the combat is better than all of these games, but like I guess it just depends on what you didn't like about those games. Like, I think the stealth and the assassinations are better in this game as opposed to Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla because they were a lot more RPG focused, whereas this one is RPG. It's got RPG elements, but it is much more of a grounded combat. So it just depends on what or the reasons why you didn't like them. Is there an actual focus on Assassin's Brotherhood? Yes. Yeah, it does. Definitely seems like there will be. Is there an actual Assassin's Guild or just robes and hidden blades? Like I said, I'm pretty sure the Brotherhood is going to be very prevalent in this one. I need moment-to-moment descriptions of combat. How do enemy types pair up? Can I retreat? You can retreat. Stealth section, strictly stealth. I haven't played any stealth sections that were strictly stealth, as in like if you get revealed, the mission fails. If that's what you mean, no, I haven't seen anything like that. Are there combination abilities tied to combination left trigger X? Yes, there are. Yep. Where it's like you can hold left trigger or right trigger and do another move if you do X or A, X, Y, B, etc., etc. I'd like to know how much an RPG it is. Is there a loot system? Yes. As I went earlier, I don't know how extensive the loot system will be, but I can definitely attest that the abilities will definitely influence gameplay differently. I don't know how many of those it will be, but I do know I've at least seen some where they will, change how you play the game. How does the combat feel? Well, I've already answered that. How would you personally have done this? As if you had been made the director from the start? What do you mean? No. I would have made a game that I think I want people to play. I wouldn't. I don't know how to make video games. Outside of RPG Maker when I was like 12 years old. Hey Key, big fan. How's the parkour? I know it's not Unity, but I hope it's better than Origins Valhalla. Parkour with Naoe is very fun. It is very good. Parkour with Yasuke is not. He's a big lumbering guy. Is it a game of all time? I have no idea. Can you customize the outfits of the character? Yes. Your gear is different depending upon what gear you're using. Was it fun? Yes, 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 yes. Dead on Arrival? No. No, I highly doubt that. Assassin's Creed's such a huge game, and this one's like already. I'm pretty sure like what's it called? Very. I think this will be pretty good. How does the game feel combat wise? Exploration. I already. The gameplay loop is fun, unlike Valhalla and Odyssey, or is it the same stuff? Yeah, I mean, I already answered stuff about gameplay stuff. The game is well written. We don't know. From what I've played, it was fun. It was interesting. The characters seem interesting. But again, we won't know until we get a full viewing of it. All I know is was the game enjoyable? Yes. Is it good? Can Yasuke jump? He can, yeah, but he falls and it looks funny. It's actually kind of a funny way they do this. All right, so that's going to conclude this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is my little preview of what I've played. And it was kind of just off the cuff, right? I don't have like a script for this. This is just things that I'm remembering on top of the head. If you enjoyed this type of style, I'll keep doing it. If you want something a little bit more structured, a little bit more scripted, I could do that too. You know, I write scripts every day for my skits. So yeah, I'm not a stranger to that. But if you like this, because again, this is kind of like me just giving it to you how you would play. Yeah, and I'll have more videos. I'll even probably have like a full gameplay video of this on the channel either today or tomorrow. And I have other stuff that I'll be coming to you guys, but let me know what you guys think. And then once we get the game, and I'll have an actual review, a full review for you guys before the game comes out on March 20th. All right, boys. Peace.